Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Vulcan Report. This end of day report is for trading on July the 12th, Tuesday, 2016. You're looking at a chart of ticker symbol SLV, the silver ETF. As you can see, this market is moving into new highs and managed to close at $19.09 after pulling back from $19.45. Market is still bullish, still locked in, even though we saw some profit taken. This market is still extremely bullish. If you've been tracking with the weekly pulse wave price triggers, you would know that we have been on this and it has been doing rather nicely. In addition to that, there's been a lot of things happening in the news and the media, and doing my best to stay on top of it. I am in the process of putting out a lot of content within these next few days. If you haven't already done so, I put together a little piece here I just uploaded on the whole Dallas shooting and the whole Black Lives Matter. I think that pretty much, is a slam dunk on the subject. I don't think there's anything else to discuss after you watch the video. I think it's very nicely done, and I think that you will find the information very informative. A lot of things that are not being talked about in the mainstream media, and very few people are even talking about it, even on the internet, in the alternative media. So do yourself a favor and go ahead and check out that video if you haven't already. I think you'll find it most informative. All right, picking up where we left off here, you will see that we have a nice uptrend here. This market is very well supported all the way down to the 1576 level down in here, and everything is starting to turn up, which is good. So we're going to continue to see this move higher. We're getting close to the initial price target of around $20 to $22. A little bit ways to go yet, but as you can see, volume is increasing in this contract. There's a lot of talk about what's going on in the silver market, fundamentally speaking. And as you know, I could care less about the fundamentals. I just care about the price action. Price is everything. And as of right now, price is saying this market is going much higher. Okay, taking a look at the silver futures, as you can see, this market is still within that strong bull zone. We could even see a little bit more pulling back to the 1914 level, and this market will still be very powerfully bullish, very well supported at the $16 handle. Those of you who've been watching the channel for some time, watching the silver analysis, you know that we told you going back a while back, I did tell you that the silver would be strongly supported at $16. I told you back that when it was down here, and now here we are up here. So when this is all said and done, the new support level is going to be between $19 and $20. Probably more likely the $20 support will be the next level of support. I do not see us revisiting anywhere down here anytime soon, especially once the $20 support is established. In the short term, we could see some possible spike lows down in here somewhere, but just understand that you're strongly supported at 16, which you will not revisit again once the $20 support is built. You will not see this level for a very, very long time once this $20 support has been established in the next couple of weeks. Just want to put that out there, okay? So that's the silver futures. We covered SLV. Let's move to gold. All right, looking at the GLD, gold got smashed today. The gold futures was down pretty hard today, $23. Just seeing a lot of operation, and I believe it's a delayed reaction. You got to keep in mind too that the whole Brexit foolishness is really causing a lot of economic uncertainties in the markets. And with that being said, for whatever reason, silver is really starting to pick up a lot of that slack, just as anticipated. Like I told you before earlier, that you were going to see that happening. Gold, on the other hand, is acting a little bit different. The volume is not as strong, excuse me, as the silver, and this market momentum has come all the way off. The good news is it's getting close to oversold, so it's probably going to pull back to maybe somewhere in between these two trend lines right here. So that'll put you around the 123, 122 price handle, possibly in the GLD. That would be a strong support though, around the 125 level, and it should bounce beyond and close above the 130 once the 125 support has been established. But this market is very well supported at 118. So I see more upside coming, because this is the beginning stages, starting from here, of a really strong upward bull market. All right, looking at the gold futures, you can see a little more selling pressure coming into play in the gold futures, and this is problematic because it's going to push the GLD lower. But as you can see right now, even the futures are well supported at the 1239 handle. That's $100 away. You don't want to see that kind of price destruction, but because this is a futures contract, it's possible it could get back down to test the 13 level. 13 should be a very strong support by now. If we do see that, it needs to hold. All right, but even if it doesn't, you still got strong support here at the 1274, and then again at the 1239 is very strong support, and then your final support is at the 1219. So between 1239 and 1219 is your strong support level. So you're going to have to watch that to see if this, what's going to happen in this market. It could spike down to here and still remain its bullish composure. So this is going to be definitely one to watch. All right, looking at crude oil. Crude oil has been something else, hasn't it? Look how we came up. It powerhoused its way off these lows, went from 26 all the way up to the 50 level, having a hard time here at 50, and now it's pulling all the way back to 44, and then it's trying to gather some legs now from the oversold condition. But how much higher it's going to go is a good question, anybody's guess. It's a negative pulse wave now. This is the beginning of a negative pulse wave. I see prices heading much lower, diving well into the Kumo cloud of death, where it's just going to chop sideways and try to decide what it's going to do. But it has broke trend at this point. This is damaging up in here. Okay, just so you know, this is damaging. It has a lot to overcome from this point. Right now, this market has upside resistance at that $50 level, strong resistance at 51.38, and again, regardless of what you see this week, if it can't close above this upward resistance, then this downside momentum will pick up and it will crash deeper into this Kumo cloud. All right, looking at the dollar here, as you can see, looking a little top heavy up in here, and we broke ranks a little bit up in here. This is problematic. This is not good. You don't really want to see this in a market that's supposed to be bullish. It looks like it's leaning a little bit. Not supposed to lean, it's supposed to have upward trajectory. You don't see that. You see sideways price action with little floaters up here. It's a positive, pulse wave nonetheless, but it's not really impressive. And again, most of the stuff, it's news driven, but it's overbought. It's trying to lock something in, but it has this overhead resistance of the Kumo cloud here to contend with, and that is strong resistance at 98, very strong resistance at 98. And as you already know, par is extreme resistance for this market. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks with this dollar. All right, looking at the Dow futures contract, hitting all-time highs here, getting back to the 18,000 level and beyond, and it is on fire. It is pulse waving positive. Previous video showed the market here, All right, it was somewhere up in here in this price level right here at that 17.5, 17.6 level, and it's since powered up and broken out. This upper resistance did not hold, and now it's totally reversed course after pulse waving negative with an extended range. It just broke right through. So now you have a test. 18,000 is going to be tested because the way the price action is acting, 18,000 wants to be support. But as you know, it's been having a hard time with 18,000. So why is this time going to be any different? Every time it gets up to the 18,000 level, it collapses. It just has a problem with 18,000. Has a problem. 18,334 is where the market's trying to go. Has not too far to go. It could hit it easily in the overnight market. But again, 18,000, it has a problem. It's been flirting with 18,000, it seems like forever. And it has big problems when it gets to 18,000. It does not hold 18,000 very well. It can waffle up and down here, play around with it, but it has a hard time getting above it. Is this time going to be different? Is it going to break through and make 18,000 a new support? Or is this another failed run at 18,000? These are all very good questions that the market's going to have to contend with and answer. So going forward, it's still up in the air. But right now the market is supported at 17,014, which is all the way down here, 1,200 points away. Alright, the last thing we're going to look at here is the Nikkei. The Nikkei is telling a total different story from the other markets, and this is problematic because the Nikkei right now is saying not so fast, much overhead resistance up here, even though it's managed to come off the lows, tested the lows. It's still weak. It's still in a bearish position. Still has overhead resistance, and technically speaking, it's still negatively pulse waving. All right, and it's overbought. This one is saying that we may fail again here in the U.S. indices, and this is going to be the one to watch. For this bull market to really be a really bull market and not a fake artificial one driven by algorithms and the Federal Reserve doing its shenanigans, this market's going to need to be bullish too. And right now it's far from it. Therefore, the Dow, I have to say, is fake. Bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So take what you can, give nothing back. And if you're getting your face ripped off in these markets, or you're on the sidelines doing nothing, you need to fire yourself and hire me. Peace. Market is still bullish, still locked in, even though we saw some profit taken. This market is still extremely bullish. If you've been tracking with the weekly pulse wave price triggers, you would know that we have been on this and it has been doing rather nicely. In addition to that, there's been a lot of things happening in the news and the media, and doing my best to stay on top of it. I am in the process of putting out a lot of content within these next few days. If you haven't already done so, I put together a little piece here I just uploaded on the whole Dallas shooting and the whole Black Lives Matter. I think that pretty much, is a slam dunk on the subject. I don't think there's anything else to discuss after you watch the video. I think it's very nicely done, and I think that you will find the information very informative. A lot of things that are not being talked about in the mainstream media, and very few people are even talking about it, even on the internet, in the alternative media. So do yourself a favor and go ahead and check out that video if you haven't already. I think you'll find it most informative. All right, picking up where we left off here, you will see that we have a nice uptrend here. This market is very well supported all the way down to. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Vulcan Report. This end of day report is for trading on July the 12th, Tuesday, 2016. You're looking at a chart of ticker symbol SLV, the silver ETF. As you can see, this market is moving into new highs and managed to close at $19.09 after pulling back from $19.45.